The most common question that I got after coming back from our first ever Disney adventure, which was fabulous by the way, Michael, which would you prefer, a Disney World trip or a Disney cruise? I am not going to be able to answer that question. I'm just not going to be able to do it because they are both incredibly magical, but at least I can give you a few differences between the Disney Cruise Line and Disney World. Now let's break it down a little bit, and let's start first with price. There is little or no doubt that going to Walt Disney World is less expensive than going on a Disney cruise. And if you have an annual pass to Walt Disney World, this effect is amplified and you realize how much more it costs to go on a Disney cruise rather than Disney World. Let's just pull a few numbers out of the air here. Let's say a family of 4 is going to Disney for 5 nights and they're staying at Disney, they have tickets. Let's say it costs them $2,000, just a random number I'm pulling out of the air. After browsing the Disney Cruise Line website a few times, maybe an average 5-night cruise would be about $2,900. And that's just after a quick look online, so you can imagine it can be much more expensive than that. So there's no doubt that Disney World is less expensive than the Disney Cruise Line, but if I was handed $3,000 tomorrow and someone told me to go on a 5-night Disney cruise or to Walt Disney World, and do I feel like they're both worth it for that amount of money, I would say yes. So the cruises are more expensive, but let's not forget what's included on the Disney cruise, like the food, the entertainment, and the transportation to some really interesting places. So even though a Disney cruise is more expensive, you do get more included with the cruise. So does it balance out? Maybe a little bit, you tell me. Now while we're on the topic of price, let's talk about getting a good deal on a Disney cruise versus Walt Disney World. Getting a good deal at Walt Disney World is actually rather easy. You just scroll down to the bottom of the Disney World website, look at the special offers with the little gift box there, and you can usually find an offer that lines up to when you're thinking about going to Walt Disney World. While it's easy to find a good deal at Walt Disney World, the Disney Cruise Line is a little bit different. First and foremost, there are some great offers for those who serve in our armed forces, and a big thank you to you, and I'm really glad that Disney Cruise Line does this. It's really great that we thank those who serve our country. But for those of us who do not have the opportunity to serve our country in the armed forces, the best deal that you can find on a Disney cruise has to be booked on a Disney cruise. The onboard special offer, which I booked for my next Disney Cruise Line adventure, you put down $250 and then they give you 10% off on your next Disney Cruise Line adventure and a credit while you're on the ship. It depends on the number of nights that you're there. It really does save you a lot for your next adventure. Now you may be looking at me like, Michael, that's well and good, but we're not on a Disney Cruise Line at the moment, and if you are, I'm super jealous by the way. But what do we do if we're not on the ship right now? If you're going for your first ever Disney cruise or you haven't booked that onboard credit, you can also look for the restricted room offers, which happen when they don't sell enough rooms, or at least that's my understanding. They don't sell enough of these rooms on the Disney Cruise Line, and then as it gets closer and closer to cruise date, they'll lower the prices and make it a restricted room offer. So you don't know which room you'll get, but you do know you'll get one in that category. You can look for those online on the Disney Cruise Line website anytime. Besides those, there aren't many other special offers on the Disney Cruise Line that I'm aware of. For the best possible price on a Disney cruise without getting that onboard credit or looking at those restricted rooms, I would be flexible in your timing. The more flexible you can be, the better price you're going to get. And if you can go when school is in session, like September, you're going to be looking at far less expensive cruises than if you're going in the middle of the summer. Now let's talk food. The food at Walt Disney World is well known for being fantastic. Disney World has a wide variety of food at lots of different restaurants, from sushi to steak to even bobotie that you can get in Boma at Animal Kingdom Lodge. On the Disney Cruise Line they have fantastic food as well, but not as many options as if you were at Walt Disney World. My personal favorite food item on the Disney Cruise Line was the avocado salmon tower, which was an appetizer at Enchanted Gardens. Really good. If you like sushi, you gotta give that one a try. Along with the table service style restaurants on the Disney Cruise Line, they have cabanas where you can go and get a buffet style meal, and they have a lot of good food there. The pastry was delicious. I love the sushi, and outside of cabanas you can get ice cream, unlimited ice cream, and just eat it all day, and it was absolutely delicious. So you have a lot more food options at Walt Disney World, but on the Disney Cruise Line there is some great food as well, so they're both delicious for food. Now let's move on to those activities and entertainment. The entertainment on the Disney Cruise Line was some of the very best that I have ever experienced. It's truly incredible. You can watch a movie on the Funimation, the giant screen on deck. You can see Broadway style productions. They've got activities going all day, open houses where you can fly the Millennium Falcon. There are all sorts of things to do on the Disney Cruise Line. The best part about those onboard activities, they are all included with your cruise. I mean, to me, that is a huge part of it. I love the fact that I can just see and do anything and it's included. Now, if you do get off the ship at one of the ports that the Disney Cruise Line stops at, whether it's the Bahamas or Castaway Cay or even Alaska, Alaska, they have some port adventure activities that you can do for purchase, and they're a lot of fun. I loved the Extreme Getaway package on Castaway Cay, where I had the opportunity to pet those stingrays and swim with them. It was just so cool. The Extreme Getaway package cost me $80 per person, and a lot of that apparently does go toward the Disney Conservation Fund, which I was really happy about. I'm helping out these stingrays, and I had the opportunity to feed them and interact with them, which was really cool. And included with that, we had the bike rental, which we didn't use, and the float rental, where we got those inner tubes and we could just relax on Serenity Bay, which was really fantastic. My grandmother loved that. Now, even though there's a lot to see and do on the Disney cruise, it really can't compare to Walt Disney World and all of the rides and different events and shows and activities that are going on there. You can't even keep track of all that's going on at Walt Disney World, so there's a lot more to do and see at Walt Disney World, but you're never bored on the Disney Cruise Line, so it's kind of a balancing act. Now, I know you want me to tell you which one I prefer, Disney World or the Disney Cruise Line, but I just can't do it. I cannot do it. They are both incredibly magical. I love them both. But if we break down some of those main categories, I can tell you what I prefer on each adventure. Now, if we're thinking about the food, I'm going to give it to Disney World for the different options that they have and the variety, but I'm going to give it to Disney Cruise Line for the scenery you get while you're eating. You can sit at the aft, look outside at the ocean as you're eating at cabanas. It's incredible views you get. Now, you often hear me talk about being disconnected at Disney, and I have to give this one to the Disney Cruise Line. When you're on a cruise, you are forced to be disconnected. I have to tell you, I loved it. That being said, I'm going to force myself at Walt Disney World on our next trip to be a little bit more disconnected. I'm not saying that I'm not going to post, I'm not going to live stream. That's not the case. I will be live streaming, I will be posting at Walt Disney World, but I'm going to disconnect just a little bit more. So you got to keep working to find the perfect balance for you. Now, when it comes to rides, the Aqueduct was fun, but it cannot compete with all the amazing rides and attractions at Walt Disney World. That's an easy win. Now, when it comes to character interactions, I met some great characters, including Pirate Donald and Captain Mickey in blue jacket and white jacket, which was really cool, on the Disney Cruise Line. Loved it. But the character interactions at Walt Disney World cannot be beat. Walt Disney World wins character interactions. When it comes to a sense of relaxation on a Disney trip, this one is tough. It really is. If you go to Kidani Village and you sit back and you look at that savannah, you can really feel relaxed. But when you're on the Disney Cruise Line and you're looking out on deck 12 or deck 13 on the ocean and just relaxing, that's tough to be beat. I'm telling you, that is tough to be beat. They're really close in that one, but I might give the edge just a little bit to Disney Cruise Line, just for now. Just because it was my first Disney cruise, I really had a chance to relax. So I'm going to give it just a Disney cruise, just a little bit. It might change in the future, you never know. Now, when it comes to pictures on vacation, the Shutters photographers did do a good job and the pictures turned out great, but I didn't like how it turned out where I had to pay $200 only for one room. So every other stateroom had to pay another $200 for their photos. I didn't feel good about that, so I had to give that one to Walt Disney World. The PhotoPass photographers are great. You can get them all in the digital download for $160 or $200, or it's included with an annual pass, and you get all of the photos, not just some of the photos. So I do like Walt Disney World's PhotoPass service much better. Overall, they are both magical experiences. I wouldn't trade either of them. I love them both. They're different. They are different styles of vacation. I love them both. For me, I want to start going on more cruises together in the future. I definitely caught the cruise bug. I really did. I'm already looking every single day to try and find a great cruise, and I want to continue going to Walt Disney World because it's the place that my family and I originally fell in love with when it comes to Disney. Now, you know my opinion. I love them both. They're both fantastic adventures, but I'd love to know what you think. Do you love them both as well and can't decide between the two? They're just different and magical in their own way? Or do you have a favorite? And one is great, but the other one is your absolute favorite, whether it's Disney Cruise Line or Walt Disney World, or maybe it's Alani or Disneyland in California. Let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.